I'm Jennifer Adams, and I'm working with Stony Brook University's instructors and students to deploy a pilot this fall that's between EDUCAUSE, Internet 2, and with providers Courseload and McGraw-Hill. And we're just going to do a little demo of how to use this product. I'm in the Chrome browser. I'm going to log into Blackboard. We have a dummy course called Courseload-Test, and most of the instructors who have expressed interest in the pilot program have been put into this course to play around and make sure it's what they're looking for. So I'm going into Courseload as an instructor right now. This is my test course, so this is where it would actually say, Bio 202. I'm going to go down to textbooks and select the textbook. As an instructor, right here we've got the print option, the same as the students have. We also have a stats, which the students don't have. So if I click on that, we can see by course who's reading the book. It does a basic count of time that a student's spending on each page, what parts of the book are they reading, and also who and what parts are they engaged in. So that's what parts are they highlighting, what parts are they taking annotations for. This is going to be useful information because we'll be able to do some analytics at the end of the pilot to figure out how engagement affects their grades. Now, it's hard to say which one comes first. Cornell was saying that not so much page count, but annotations really seem to tie together for grades. But are the good students the ones who are annotating, or is the annotating helping the grades? It's more than I know how to actually assess conclusively which came first. I can export a list here, and it's opening up as a CSV file. So it's something that you can do further manipulations with in Excel. Okay, so going back to the program, here you see your book, you see the chapters of your book, you can see bookmarks that you've made, and you can see the notes that you've created for this book. It's definitely encourage instructors to annotate their books. Take the time to add that value-added content to the textbook, because that's what sets this apart from being a published textbook. It's a published textbook. You can't write in the margins, yes, this method works, but it's not the one that I recommend for class, and have that immediately show up in everyone's textbook. Or you can't put in a little video that maybe you made on the fly in YouTube and add that to the textbook. So while one way of looking at it is, even though the textbooks are pretty much a flat transfer from the bound book to the ebook, which is not ideal. We want to have all those cool features that we see Apple show off when they're saying, oh, this is what an anatomy textbook could look like, and it has three-dimensional models of the heart, and it lets you kind of do a reveal inside and stuff like that. But because you can attach, or the instructor can attach, additional animations and YouTube videos and annotations, that's sort of where it's making that leap. It's not made it entirely, but it's a very easy way of making it a more rich environment without having spent a year just creating animated diagrams or 3D models that might, if they were actually embedded into the book, make the book itself more rich media. So essentially, you get the same product, just with the links on the side instead of being straight in. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I think I put some in here, maybe not in this account, I don't remember. I put in here, just a note from the instructor saying this part is important. This part's going to be on the exam, in other words, right? Here it says, read this chapter by, you would say read this chapter by a particular date. Get off of that, click back on that dot. Yeah, it's in one of my other accounts that I added some more rich media stuff. So other things that you can zoom in to a certain extent. It doesn't go past that. So on some readers, some mobile devices might not be legible depending on the book. I would imagine, I think somebody had said that some of the statistics classes, the type was just too small. It didn't work as well. You can get a 2-page or a 1-page fit, and of course you can zoom the other way. You can also change this so that it doesn't show that toolbar at the top, and that brings back a little bit more real estate for your book. Now over here it's saying it's showing my notes, which happens to be the instructor notes. If I wanted to show from a classmate, I want to see the notes from other people, I can do that. So actually, let me see. This is, even though it says my name, it's one of my student logins. So I'm going to go here, and as the instructor, I can look at what my students have annotated into the book. I'm not saying all the instructors have to look at each student's notes, but it might be a way of giving them a participation bonus on the end of the semester, saying, well, you know what, thank you, you contributed a lot of annotations, and not only that, you were willing to share them with all your other students, which really made a difference to this course. And here, this is what I was talking about before. The student has actually added some rich media content to this. So this part here is talking about Punnett squares. Those are the recessive dominant graphs that you can do. And not only is there a definition here, but we see a picture example. And if I go back here, there's also the student has loaded up a YouTube video.
Your height, the shape of your nose,
about the square. So
red
again,
or
it's adding that value-added
means
content
both
without having the
change
book
black.
have to be more than a transfer from a flat book.
I remember to tell you something else.
All right.
So on Tuesday night,
Next thing I want to show you is I'm going to log out of the instructor account and go ahead and log in to a student account. Okay, now I'm going into the course as a student this time.
yeah, no, I knew
You see I don't have all the admin
I told her to go to the spa and drop the
stuff cluttering up the page. I'll go into that
and I go,
content
remember the iPhone?
link and then
Remember
the
that story of my
link to the
husband
textbooks.
I'm like, this is your payback, Nancy.
Back down to textbooks and look at this guy. So now I have an extra link that the instructor didn't have here.
I told her
I have this sharing button. This is where I can actually, as the student, decide I don't want to have my notes and questions viewed by the instructor inside of Courseload. But here's also the place where if you as a student now, you take a lot of time writing your notes, you can make the decision. Do I want to share my notes with other people in my class? Do I want to share it with all the people in my class? Or maybe just some people in my class? I might have a couple of friends that I want to share notes with. Or maybe I have a learning team that the instructor has assigned that they're saying, yes, you need to share your notes with these people and work out some learning team examples and problems together. So that's what that looks like. Now as a student, I want to go ahead and start working on this. Maybe I have an assignment that's back here on cardiovascular disease, and I remember from class that this part here is very important. So I'm going to highlight that and maybe pick a different color for it, and I can add a note saying in class the professor stated this would be on the test. Not that that's the best reason for having to study something. And I can go ahead and save that note. Now it shows up here. If I'm sharing my notes, it'll show up with everybody else. I could also create a little note here and say this part is really unclear. I thought you said something else in class, question mark, and then actually post that as a question and save that. Now this is going to show up to the instructor if they log into Courseload and they open up that book. They're going to get a notice here that they have questions associated with this textbook. So just a quick, I mean, it's not tough. If you want to make a bookmark, you click up here. If you want to go to the next page, there's buttons actually at the bottom for advancing, or of course you can scroll through which just generates little
Oh yeah.
thumbnail drawings of the pages so you can take a look. I've already made a feature request to have gestures so you can swipe your pages, because I think it's a little unintuitive already. People are used to ebooks enough that they're used to swiping around to their pages, not pressing a key like this.
You're welcome.
And you can notice there's also a go-to page here. Plus, if you do a search and you put in a page number, it's going to find that, and it's going to it has the whole book index. It'll find any of those search terms as you look around. Just to point out a deficit of this particular ebook platform, there's no whiteboarding. So if what I wanted to do was, you know, if I had my real book and I have this picture of the bird and I want it to actually diagram it and point an arrow and circle a part of it, that's not available inside of Courseload. That's really a big part of what the student needs to do in order to do the annotations. They probably should print that page out and go ahead and scribble their arrows and stuff like that onto the page. That's not available right now. Certainly is a feature request. Another possible disadvantage is, let's see if I can show you where this is. So right here, so here's my 2 textbooks that I have in my demo class. I can check out this book. See how that says that? But the thing that lets me check out that book is that I have a Google app from Courseload loaded into Chrome. So offline viewing is actually only available if you can use the Chrome browser or have access to that Google app, Courseload. Chrome on Android is only in beta right now, and doesn't support all devices. So that's just, obviously we're going to have Chrome in the sync sites, and we'll load up that app for everybody. See that it's downloading that book so that I have offline viewing though. Okay, so right here it has this 3 new. That means you have 3 new questions from various different students. Go back here, and if I go to the bottom here, I have this Manage Content area. Okay, I'm going to upload something that I downloaded from the library resources. You'll notice that this then brings the social media aspects to the PDF that they normally wouldn't have if it was just put into the e-library resources. So this is just a standard PDF from our library. But you'll see now I can highlight, I can add notes, I can send questions to the instructors, and I can add rich media as a sidebar. I hope this demonstration has been useful. I look forward to any questions you may have for me. This is Jennifer Adams from TLT. Thank you.